Is there truly a benefit in understanding where we hold specific emotions in our body? The answer is yes. When we connect back to our body and understand what's going on in our body, then we're able to nurture ourselves in the way that's needed to improve our vitality. In this episode, I dive into emotional body mapping and how it helps with this.
You are listening to the Sound Therapy Network podcast, where we talk about all things sound healing. This podcast is for practitioners and clients who want to learn more about this magical healing modality.
Welcome to the Sound Therapy Network podcast. I am your host, Niajae, embodiment coach, owner of Bliss Wellness Studio in Tampa, Florida, and the creator of Somatic Sound Therapy. In this episode, we are going to dive into emotional body mapping, which is a huge part of Somatic Sound Therapy. Connecting back to our body to understand where we hold specific emotions and using that information to understand what we need for our own healing and vitality. So if you look up the definition of emotional body mapping, it is the practice of identifying where emotions are stored, felt, or expressed in the body. It helps us connect physical sensations with emotional experiences, bringing awareness to how unprocessed feelings can manifest as tension, pain, or discomfort, also physical ailments. When we bring attention to these areas through somatic awareness, breath work, or sound therapy, we can begin to release stuck energy and promote emotional regulation and healing. So this is what we do with somatic sound therapy, helping clients and also practitioners understand where we hold specific emotions and then use healing frequencies and vibration to target those specific areas so we can dissolve the stuck emotion, the dense and stagnant energy, dissolve the blocks, dissolve the limiting beliefs, so we can step into our power and feel our best. What I want to do in this episode is provide a quick overview of the emotions that we hold in specific areas. Anytime I talk about the chakras, I always start at the foundation, which is our root chakra. But in this case, I'm going to start at the feet because that is our foundation. So when we think about feet, ankles, knees, and legs, that is where we hold fear. And obviously, there's a lot of different things that we can be fearful of, but generally, we hold fear in our legs, our knees, our ankles, our feet, because our legs are our mobility. It's our ability to take steps forward in life, take action, move forward. And so, if we have knee pain, or something is wrong with our feet or legs and we can't move forward, our bodies are so intelligent, and I love how it communicates to us through our sensations. And it definitely goes deeper. So, for example, left knee can be hopelessness, and right knee is fear of taking action. But I want to just give a general overview. So, typically, in the legs, the knees, the feet, the ankles, it is fear. And it could be due to what's happening in the world. It could be due to insecurities. So it definitely goes deeper. But generally, when we have an injury, when we have aches and pains in our legs, our ankles, our feet, it's some type of fear that we're holding onto in our body. So then we have our hips. We hold so many emotions in our hips. We hold unprocessed childhood wounds in our hips. And you hear about people having hip pain, having hip replacements even, and it's because of years and sometimes decades of built up stuck energy. So if someone had, let's just say, an accident, or maybe they were a dancer or gymnast or some type of sport that worked their hips, when you have stuck energy or dense energy, you're more prone to an injury in that area because of the dense energy that you're holding onto in your body. There are definitely environmental or circumstantial situations that can contribute to hip pain. But when we have stuck emotions in that area, it makes us more likely to have tension, pain, or an injury in that specific area. So left hip is associated with mom or the feminine energy in our lives. So it could be mom, grandmom, sister, things like that, aunts. The right hip is associated with masculine energy. So this could be dad, granddad, brother, uncles, things like that. So doing inner child healing and healing your inner teenager is really powerful because we hold so much in our hips. And again, we need our hips to be able to walk and move forward. I'm a huge advocate for inner child healing, and not just because it'll help us feel good in our bodies, but also it impacts our confidence, our courage, our self-worth. Next, let's get into the back. So we'll start with the lower back, which is the root chakra. So at the base of the spine, a lot of people have lower back pain. So lower back pain is where we hold overwhelm, worry, financial worry. We hold all of that in our lower back. This is also safety. So if you're in an environment where you don't feel safe, this could be home, this could be work, just in the world right now, we hold that sense of not feeling safe in our lower back. And I would say probably 8 in 10 people have lower back pain, maybe 9 in 10, honestly. So I've actually started incorporating sessions at my studio where we put the bowl on the back and then they flip over and we put it on the front of the body because so many people have back pain. So middle of the back is the back of our solar plexus. It's where we hold guilt and shame. The difference between guilt and shame, guilt says I did something bad, shame says I am bad. And we have a lot of internalized shame that we navigate in the world. And if we haven't done any type of shadow work or shame work, we probably hold on to a lot of shame in our body and we internalize things as shame, even if it's not meant to shame us. But again, that's why I'm a huge advocate for inner child healing, because we can go back to the time where the world told us we were bad if we didn't fit into a certain mold, and we can nurture that part of us. So when things happen in our lives, we don't internalize it as shame. Next, we have our upper back, which is the back of our heart chakra. So this is where we hold a lot of heartache, a lot of grudges, resentment, things that we don't necessarily want to share with the world. So we have our heart chakra that's like forward facing, and we can hold a lot of grief and pain and disappointment in the front of our heart chakra. But the back of our heart chakra is where we hold the emotions that we like to hide from people. So the resentment and the grudges and things like that. Then we start getting into the shoulders and the neck, which is where we hold stress. So this is responsibility. This is when the weight of the world is on our shoulders. We also hold burdens. So we have our burdens and we have other people's burdens that we tend to carry. We carry sometimes our parents' burdens or our siblings or our partners, definitely kids if you have children. So the weight that sits on our shoulders, basically. So that is all stress. Shoulders, neck, that whole area. My neck and shoulders are always tight. Being a business owner, especially in a service-based business. So I like to tend to my neck and shoulders a lot because of that. So that's the beauty in understanding where we specifically hold tension in our body so we can nurture ourselves so it doesn't turn into issues or physical ailments. So the next thing I want to talk about is our elbows. We hold indecision in our elbows. And lately, I've had a lot of people share with me, clients, people in my personal lives, that they had elbow issues. So typically, we're trying to hold on to something that a part of us is ready to let go of, but a part of us isn't. And so it creates this indecision. So if you've had elbow pain, what are you trying to hold on to that a part of you is ready to let go of? And feeling that indecision. I'm also a huge advocate for IFS or parts work. So IFS stands for internal family systems, and it can also be called parts work, fragmentation, things like that. But identifying our different parts and what the parts need, because sometimes we have parts that need two different things. And that elbow situation is the perfect example. There is a part of you that is ready to let go of something, and then there's a part of you that isn't ready to let go of something. And I'm sure we've all been there before, and our body communicates to us in this way. And that's why I find our bodies are so intelligent. And it's really fascinating when you start to peel the layers back and understand what these sensations are actually communicating to us. And I feel like we all have intuition. It's just choosing if we want to listen to it or not. How many times has something happened in your life and you said, man, I knew that, but I did it anyway? So if we start listening to that internal voice, that inner wisdom, we can actually avoid a lot of problems if we really trust ourselves and trust our intuition. It can also cut out a lot of need for external validation. When we connect back to ourselves, our inner wisdom, our divine guidance, our higher self, then we learn to trust ourselves more, and we don't need external validation because we have that inner knowing. And that's a powerful place to be. The last thing I want to share about is our throat. And it's really important for me to mention this because it's actually an area that I see spiked the most when I facilitate wellness scans at my studio. And it's leading to thyroid issues. A lot of people have thyroid issues right now, and it's a result of the spiked energy in the throat. And what I always hear clients say when they come to me, a Reiki practitioner told me I have a block in my throat chakra. This is really, really, really important. We cannot focus on the throat chakra if we don't focus on the heart chakra first. So what's actually happening is there's stuck energy from the heart chakra. There's a block in the heart. There's pain, there's grief, there's resentment stuck in the heart chakra, and that creates stuck in dense energy between the heart and the throat. And there's always a spike. When I do the aura scans, there's always a spike in energy there because of stuck energy in the chest. Now, what this manifests in our physical body is panic attacks, heartburn, acid reflux, different things that make people feel panicky in their chest. So anxiety and eventually heart attacks and strokes if we don't focus on the blocks in our heart, the dense energy in our heart, the Pandora's box that we don't really want to open up because it's painful. So that stuck energy is actually what the Reiki practitioners are picking up on. And it's not a result of the throat chakra being blocked. It's the heart that stops good energy flow to the throat chakra and then the upper chakras. So we have to focus on the heart first. So what I always recommend to the practitioners that go through my training, always start at the root chakra and work your way up. And if you're starting at the foundation, which is the root chakra, you have to get to the heart before you get to the throat anyway. And that's a good practice because we can't speak our truth if we don't truly open up our hearts. So what we're speaking can just be performance-based versus what's really on our heart. And when I say really on our heart, think about the back of the heart chakra where we're holding onto that resentment, where we may be holding onto a grudge or just something we don't really want to speak about, or maybe we have really deep grief. And grief isn't always due to loss. We also have ambiguous loss, the loss of a friendship or a divorce, the loss of a business. And I can attest to that, the things that come along with losing a business or losing your home or moving away from a familiar place. And sometimes we don't give ourselves space to properly grieve, especially in our society where we distract, dissociate, and deny that we even have feelings around it. It is what it is, right? That's the society we live in. And so what happens is those emotions are stored in our bodies. And until we really start to get in there and dissolve those stuck emotions, it just piles up. It piles up, it piles up, it piles up. And then we wonder why we have anxiety. We wonder why we have heartburn. We wonder why we feel heavy. It's because we have so much that we're holding on to in our bodies. So what somatic sound therapy does is, one, it educates you on where we're holding specific emotions. So now you can do a check-in, do a body scan, and know, oh, okay, this is what I'm navigating, or this is what I'm avoiding. And that's powerful. Awareness is half of the battle. And then we take a Himalayan bowl and some healing frequencies, and we start to dissolve those emotions while gently soothing the nervous system. So the nervous system knows we are safe. We're safe to process this emotion. We're safe to let go of this emotion, because sometimes we hold on to emotions out of safety as well. And sometimes we attach our identity to our pain, to our emotions, to our grief. I know a lot of people that hold on to their ailments or their emotions or what happened to them, and they're defined by it because it's become what's known. And sometimes what's known feels safe or safer than the unknown. If I let this thing go, if I heal this thing, if I let go of this emotion that I feel is part of my identity, then who will I be? And I don't know. And that unknown is scary. So sometimes we attach ourselves to our physical ailments. So soothing the nervous system and creating that safety in the body allows people to feel comfortable with what is to come if they let go of emotions that they've been holding on to, if they let go of physical ailments that has become part of their everyday life or their identity. Feeling safe in your body, trusting yourself, gives you the courage to really ask yourself, who am I without back pain? So I want to give you a quick example. Say I have chronic back pain, and because I have chronic back pain, I don't go dancing, for example. And maybe when I was a kid, I got up to dance and I was made fun of, right? And this is a hypothetical example. I was made fun of when I was 11 years old because I got in the middle of a crowd to dance and people laughed at me. So now, as an adult, I have chronic back pain, and anytime someone mentions dancing, I say, I can't because of my back. I can't do this because of my back. Sorry, can't go, my back. So what if I made the choice to do some inner child healing, to heal around that situation where I was made fun of at 11? And I made peace with dancing, and I slowly started trying to dance again. And I made the conscious decision to let go of that back pain. What would be possible for me and for my life if I let go of that block? So it's a silly example, but I hope that it really lands where sometimes we hold on to things in our body and we form identity around it. And it's really a defense mechanism that was created to protect a sensitive part of us, to protect maybe a childhood wound that we haven't wanted to revisit. So this is the power in somatic healing. Letting go of the dense energy, the blocks, the limiting beliefs, the outdated programming that we have stored in our physical body. And usually when we can start to dissolve it in our physical body, it helps release it in our subconscious, and then we can truly step into our passion, our purpose, our vitality. This is the beauty in somatic sound therapy. This is the work that I do with my clients. This is the work that I do with practitioners, teaching them how to do this work with their clients. So I hope you found value in this episode. If there is a pain or ache or specific body part that you want to know what emotion we hold in that specific area, definitely reach out to me. I would love to do a follow-up episode. If you are in the Tampa Bay area or you want to travel to sunny Florida to work with me at Bliss Wellness Studio, you can reach me at contact@blisswellnesstampa.com. I also work with people virtually, so if you have interest in that, email me as well. And if you are a practitioner or you have interest in adding somatic sound therapy to your services, definitely reach out about our certification trainings and mentorship. This is powerful work that does change people's lives. So it goes deeper than just a sound bath. Everyone's doing sound baths these days, but somatic sound therapy is a deeper healing that has the nervous system in the forefront, healing at a pace that's safe for the nervous system, and really connecting people back to their bodies and releasing what we have stored in our bodies so we feel our best mentally, physically, and emotionally. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, wishing you healing and harmony.
Thank you so much for listening to the Sound Therapy Network podcast. Edgar Cayce says, sound is the medicine of the future. The future is now. By listening and sharing this podcast, you are contributing to the wave of healing in the world and safety in the healing space.